Adam Cole. What is Adam Cole's future with NXT? What is his future in WWE? Is he going to Raw? Is he going to SmackDown? I spoke about this last night. I think that Adam Cole is going to be moving to either Raw or SmackDown very, very soon, and his time in NXT is numbered. Now, this comes off last night. NXT, we crowned a new NXT champion, so spoilers ahead if you haven't watched last night's episode of NXT. It was Adam Cole versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor became the NXT champion after defeating Adam Cole in a pretty damn good match, actually. I think it's one of Finn Balor's better matches since he's returned to NXT. I think it was the right move. You look at Finn Balor's run in NXT so far, and I've been quite critical of it, actually. I felt that it's been quite disappointing. If you're going to really weigh it up, Finn Balor's run in NXT since he returned towards the end of last year, it's just been very disappointing. I think there was a lot of promise there was a lot of buzz, and there was a lot of excitement. He then had the heel turn, which I was a big fan of, because I thought, like many people, we were going to get Finn Balor from New Japan. We were going to get Prince Devitt version of Finn Balor, and they teased it for a bit. And he had matches. He was scheduled to have a match with Johnny Gargano after the heel turn, but Gargano had a neck injury, so that didn't happen. So instead he had matches with the likes of Matt Riddle. He did actually have an NXT Championship match against Adam Cole on an NXT episode. He'd had matches against Ilya Dragunov at Worlds Collide as well. He eventually did have the match against Johnny Gargano. Had a good match against Damian Priest this year at NXT TakeOver in Your House. But if you're going to really weigh it up, I say that the Finn Balor run in NXT so far up to this point has been disappointing because he hasn't felt as big as he did coming in, which is probably the best way that I can put as to why it's been disappointing. Finn Balor originally in NXT felt like a big deal, a big star. He went to the main roster, got drafted to Raw, feeling like a big star. Obviously, first ever Universal Champion. It didn't work out. He got injured, and his career in WWE never truly recovered. He went from being a potential main event star to being a mid-card, upper mid-card guy that could slot into a Universal title program, but only did on the very rare occasion. So when he went back to NXT, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought this is great. This is great. We're going to see the big star Finn Balor again, and it hasn't worked out, or it didn't work out. He's still on main roster money. His contract hasn't changed. WWE took a big investment and a big chance moving him to NXT, and so far I don't think it's paid off. So he was meant to be one of the top draws opposite AEW, and it just hasn't worked out that way. Now, obviously, there are mitigating factors here. There are issues such as I mentioned, injuries to opponents. Johnny Gargano, a prime example of that. He was going to have a feud with Volta heading into NXT UK TakeOver Dublin and feud over the NXT UK Championship. That didn't happen due to the pandemic. But last night was absolutely the right call because Finn Balor is still a name, he's still on big money, and this is the way to truly elevate him back up to where he should be and where he was previously in NXT and keep some momentum going with him. So I think it's absolutely the right move to have Finn Balor win the NXT Championship last night. Now, what about Adam Cole? This video is titled about Adam Cole moving to Raw or SmackDown soon. And I think last night is just the evidence of that. I think his days in NXT are numbered. We know it's been confirmed by multiple sources and multiple reports, even some WWE superstars, that a draft is coming soon. Now, not like last year's draft, where it was just Raw and SmackDown were involved last year. NXT will be involved in the draft later this year. So we're going to have NXT stars going to Raw and SmackDown, but we're also going to have Raw and SmackDown stars going to NXT. And I think one of those superstars going to Raw and SmackDown from NXT is going to be Adam Cole. So for me, that's the reason he didn't win the NXT Championship last night. And you look at it, what is left for there to do if you're Adam Cole in NXT? He's won everything. He has literally done everything there is to do in NXT. He's the longest reigning NXT champion in the history of the brand. He was the inaugural NXT North American champion. He's a former NXT Tag Team champion, winner of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. He was the captain in the return of the War Games match in 2017. He beat Pat McAfee. He had the celebrity match. At this point, there really is nothing left for Adam Cole to do in NXT. And unless this Pat McAfee feud continues at some point, which Pat McAfee kind of teased it on social media last night, But I think it's very unlikely at this point. I think Adam Cole just needs a change of scenery at this point. Now, do I think moving to Raw and SmackDown would be best for him? I think it would be best for his career. Creatively, would it be best for him? Maybe not. Maybe not. We've seen the issues, shall we say, of Keith Lee and Matt Riddle recently going to Raw and SmackDown. They're getting good pushes, but long term, what's happening with their characters? You've got changes to Keith Lee's music, changes to his ring attire. Matt Riddle has been featured well, and his character has been tweaked slightly. It's very, very marketing friendly. The Bodacious Barefoot Bro, and the bro is increased tenfold, which I'm not sure is the best thing for Matt Riddle, to be honest. So Matt Riddle might have some issues there, and Adam Cole might have the same issues too when he goes to Raw and SmackDown. But I think another factor as to why it looks like Adam Cole is soon to head to Raw or SmackDown is that Adam Cole, for the first time really in his NXT run, was a tried and true babyface last night. Once the match was done, he congratulated Finn Balor backstage in the gorilla position, goes up to him, says you were the better man, gives him a 2 sweet. He turned face, rather, Adam Cole that is, during the Pat McAfee feud. But I think some people thought, well, is that just because Pat McAfee is such a heel in that situation? He's the outsider. Adam Cole is still a heel here, but he's the heel you love to boo and that kind of deal. But no, not now. Adam Cole is a proper babyface. As I mentioned, congratulated Finn Balor in person, 2 sweet. Also, he tweeted out saying Finn Balor was the better man. Congratulations, he was better on the night. He had an interview after the match and said he was the better guy, and congratulated Finn Balor once again. But the interesting thing with Adam Cole becoming a babyface on NXT is that the Undisputed Era would appear to still be heels. Now, last night on NXT, Roderick Strong had a match with Killian Dane. Bobby Fish got involved, so Roderick Strong won the match. After the match, they're beating down Killian Dane. Drake Maverick comes out, makes the save. They're kind of teasing some tag team between Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. We'll have to see. But Kyle O'Reilly actually felt like a babyface a couple of weeks ago when he faced Drake Maverick. He didn't look happy that the UE were doing a beatdown after the match. But the most important thing, it's not about the Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly, their status as a babyface or a heel. The most important thing here is that Adam Cole, during these recent Undisputed Era segments, is absolutely nowhere to be seen. Now, the last time I think he was technically seen with the Undisputed Era is when they did a beatdown of Drake Maverick, but that was a few weeks ago at this point. He's very distant, and he has been since this Pat McAfee feud kind of ended. And to me, with Adam Cole distancing himself, Adam Cole turning a babyface, but the rest of the group staying heel, that says to me that this is the beginning of the end for the Undisputed Era. This is the start of the Undisputed Era splitting up, and that would facilitate, once again, Adam Cole moving to Raw or SmackDown. Support for WrestleNews 365 is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Now, Manscaped, for all of my UK fans out there, Manscaped just launched in the UK. Over here in the United Kingdom, we have gone for years and years and years without using the right tools for the job. But now you can be one of the first men in England to experience their life-changing product. But it's not just limited to all of the great fans over here in the UK. This offer goes worldwide, so all of my friends over in America and around the world that are listening to this offer still does apply for you. You can still use our code. But I've got to tell you a quick story first. Now, there have been so many times, right? I'm a guy. You gotta groom down there, fellas, right? That's the most important thing. You gotta keep yourself trimmed. You gotta keep yourself proper. And a lot of the time, I've been guilty of this, of using the wrong tools for the job. I've had incidences, I'm not afraid to say it, where things have been nicked, snagged, or in fact cut down there because I wasn't being careful enough and using the right equipment. Now that just shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. You don't want to be worrying about cutting yourself down there. Do you know how painful that is? I can tell you, it hurts quite a lot. And I wish and hope to God it never happens to me again, and it won't happen to me ever again because I'm using Manscaped products. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. Big statement, but it's absolutely true. They have just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. It's also available around the world as well. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. So those cuts and snags that I was telling you about before are a thing of the past. And let me tell you, when I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes so you can get a longer, perfect shave. And not only that, you don't want to be cutting yourself and trimming yourself all over the bathroom, getting hair all over the place. That's just disgusting. The lawnmower has a waterproof technology that allows you to groom in the shower, so no more mess. And one of the coolest features, one of my favourite features about the lawnmower is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming experience. So you can shave longer, you can shave more precisely, and you can shave in the shower. What more did I need to tell you? They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology, and let's not forget about the charging stand. You can show off your mower loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. So, if you are listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Let's get that bush to tush clean, and you can get 20% off and free shipping. Yeah, you heard me right there. 20% off and free shipping. All you have to do is use the code 365wrestle at manscaped.com. Make your testes their besties. That's 20% off and free shipping. Not only are you getting 20% off, you're getting free shipping as well with the code 365wrestle at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code 365wrestle. Your balls will thank you. So as I mentioned about the draft is coming. The draft is absolutely coming, and to be honest, it's desperately needed. The Raw and SmackDown rosters at the moment are incredibly stale, and I don't mean that in terms of the talent on there. What I mean is just the matchups and the match pairings. At this point in WWE, the last draft was a year ago, but WWE do so many rematches, and they put so many matches on every week, and pay-per-views and all of this sort of stuff. The talent is so overexposed that it doesn't take long for them to blow through all of these matchups. So the rosters are very stale. You look at Raw this past week, my gosh, Raw, it had 1 million rematches on there. We had people in multiple segments and multiple matches. The Hurt Business was in at least 2 matches, and the same with the likes of Apollo Crews. The Street Profits have faced Angel Garza and Andrade about 1 million times since March alone. You've also got some injuries on Monday Night Raw and some injuries on SmackDown. The whole roster at this point, I think, just needs a shake-up. And given that WWE is now in the Amway Center, they've now got the WWE Thunderdome, the shows are looking more and more like what we used to from a WWE show, from an aesthetic point of view, and they feel bigger again. We've got the pyro, we've got the lasers. It feels like a grander show. And we've got some people returning, like Roman Reigns, like Sami Zayn. To me, at this point, it makes sense for WWE to move things around. Now, we have had a couple of NXT call-ups recently. Matt Riddle went to SmackDown, Keith Lee went to Raw. But we need more in multiple directions, and that's what we're going to get. We don't just need NXT to Raw or SmackDown, we need Raw and SmackDown to NXT too. Now, another thing to bear in mind here is that the WWE Draft was initially in October 2019, so we're in September now. We're nearly a year on. So, if anything, we're probably overdue to move things around at this point when it comes to the talent on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And as I mentioned, in this draft, this time, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT are going to be involved. There were rumors last year when they did the draft that NXT was going to be involved, but that wasn't the case. They just started on the USA Network. I think they were concerned about moving talent from NXT to Raw, SmackDown might hurt them in opposition to AEW. In reality, it hasn't really mattered. And I think this story with Finn Balor winning the NXT Championship last night, the face turn of Adam Cole, the distancing with Adam Cole from the Undisputed Era, I think it's the beginning of Adam Cole moving to Raw or SmackDown. So when this draft does happen, and it will happen very soon, where does he go? I think personally I would like to see him on Raw. I think Raw needs the star power. The only issue if Adam Cole does move to Monday Night Raw is that Monday Night Raw at this point of time isn't Vince McMahon's main focus. SmackDown, ever since it moved to Fox, it's become the A show. It's the show that gets all of Vince McMahon's attention and focus. It doesn't get rewrites because it has Vince's focus throughout the week. And why is SmackDown the A show now? Well, it's viewed by more people. And the main reason for that is it's on network television. So it's on free-to-air TV in the United States. So you compare that to Monday Night Raw and NXT rather, which is on USA Network. That's on cable. And they don't make as much money on Raw or NXT as they do for SmackDown. SmackDown, as part of the rights package to go to Fox, it was a $1 billion contract, wasn't it? I think Monday Night Raw was significantly less than that. It certainly wasn't $1 billion. So Vince McMahon knows where his bread is buttered in this situation. He knows that SmackDown is the show that needs the attention because he needs to keep those Fox executives happy. Fox do have an out clause in that contract. We've seen it with the likes of, they did the same with the PGA Tour, where they had an out clause in that contract. If they're not happy, they can get out of the contract. Now, I don't think they will. I think they see WWE as a pillar of what they want to do going forward, and they want to integrate it into the likes of the NFL. Given that the NFL is going to return soon, that's going to be a big part of their cross-promotion with WWE. So I do think SmackDown's rating will continue to rise in the next few weeks, or as we head into the latter part of this year. But as I mentioned, it takes all of Vince McMahon's focus. So if Adam Cole does go to Raw, is he less out of the eye of Vince McMahon? And some people might say that that's a good thing, but in reality, if you want to succeed in WWE, it's all about getting the approval of Vince McMahon. Look at Keith Lee right now. We can say what we want about his awful entrance music or his weird attire that he had been wearing. They've kind of evolved it slightly over the last few weeks. But Vince McMahon's a big fan of Keith Lee. And if Vince McMahon's on board and Vince McMahon is a fan of you, you're going to go straight to the top. So maybe Adam Cole needs to go to SmackDown and Vince McMahon can fall in love with Adam Cole. And I think also it depends, the show that Adam Cole goes to all depends on what kind of character Adam Cole is going to be portraying on the main roster. Adam Cole, throughout this entirety of his NXT run, has been a heel. Now, recently we've seen him turn babyface, so maybe does that mean if he goes to Raw and SmackDown, he'll be a babyface? I don't know if that's the best for him. I prefer him, Adam Cole, as a heel, and maybe that's me being naive because I've only really seen a lot of his work in WWE as a heel. I do think he can do both. I really do think he can do both. He's an incredibly likable guy. If you see any of his work outside of the ring, his Twitch streams, if he is allowed to say that, if he's allowed to call himself Adam Cole on his Twitch streams, whatever, I think he can do both. He does have... I mean, people kind of call him, mini Shawn Michaels, don't they? I do think he's his own person. He's not the next Shawn Michaels. He's the first Adam Cole. But he does have that Shawn Michaels-esque babyface quality about him. So I think he can do both. But I do think he can be money as a babyface too. But ultimately, as I mentioned, I think Adam Cole's time in NXT is up. Multiple sources have said that the draft is happening very soon. It's funny, actually, because this talk of the draft recently... a few nights ago, it was after Monday Night Raw actually, I was on Instagram and I saw that Angel Garza was doing an Instagram live. He was chatting to his fans. So I clicked on there. It was after Monday Night Raw. I was winding down, trying to get ready for a night's sleep. And Angel Garza's answering questions there. And one of the questions asked to him was, what's going on with the draft? And he simply said, I don't know what's going on with the draft. I know it is happening. I just don't know when and where. So it would appear that the talent is in the exact same boat as we are, that a draft is happening. They've been told a draft is happening at some point. They just don't know when. They just don't know where. Now, by all accounts, the original draft was meant to happen in maybe April after WrestleMania. Then it was moved to July, then August, then September because of the pandemic and because of... Look, circumstances have been evolving every single week this year in 2020. You can hardly plan anything at this point of time. But now that WWE do have a bit more of structure to their programming, they kind of do have a grip on the situation right now. I would suggest that we're probably going to see the draft in October at this point, possibly after Clash of Champions. You think that WWE's contract with the City Orlando and the Amway Center expires in October. I do think they'll renegotiate to the end of the year, though, or maybe even longer. But I think that given that they're doing these big shows now and they're trying to drive the ratings back up with these Thunderdome shows, I think that the draft is likely for October at this point, possibly after Clash of Champions. But this is WWE. These things can change week to week. We might have SmackDown on Friday, then we just suddenly have an advertisement the draft is Monday. I would not be surprised in the slightest if that was the case. Things move so quickly when it comes to WWE and their planning and their advertising. But I think the most exciting thing of this potential draft, or it's not even potential, it is happening. The exciting thing of this draft is the move of Raw and SmackDown stars to NXT. We've spoken about Adam Cole going to Raw or SmackDown, but I think a really exciting element here is the Raw and SmackDown Superstars to NXT, because there are so many names that need to move back or just need a change of scenery that isn't Raw and SmackDown. I think of Ricochet, the talent that he was in NXT. He absolutely needs to go back, I think. Even names like Aleister Black, I'm encouraged that they're using Aleister Black better on Monday Night Raw. I'm interested to see where they go with the heel turn. I like the feud with Kevin Owens. I didn't like Kevin Owens and Aleister Black brawling for 3 segments on Raw Underground Monday, only to get destroyed by a new guy. I thought that was just not needed. But Aleister Black, he was a former NXT champion. He was a big deal in NXT. He's a guy you can build the brand around again and get some momentum back. So I'd like to see Aleister Black go back. Maybe someone like Drew Gulak too. And maybe some names we haven't seen in NXT before. What about AJ Styles? Now, I know some people will say AJ Styles is too big of a name to go to NXT, but why not? Why not? What about Jeff Hardy? Jeff Hardy, I think he's got, with the time added on to his contract due to his injuries and issues that he's had, I think he's got something like 22 months added onto his contract. It's a lot longer than people thought. Jeff Hardy in NXT would be an absolute trip. It really, really would. What about a name like Sheamus? Sheamus could be a lot of fun in NXT. Have guys like Cesaro or Kevin Owens go back. Kevin Owens is the guy that he could be Mr. NXT. He really, really could. And I think about this war, this Wednesday night war that we have between NXT and AEW, and obviously with NXT being on Tuesday the last 2 weeks, a lot of people have said NXT should move to Tuesday. It's not going to happen because Vince McMahon doesn't back down even if he's losing. Even if there's one person viewing him on Wednesday nights, he will stay there because it's one person who isn't viewing AEW. That's the way he sees it. So if WWE insists on having NXTs on Wednesday to compete with AEW, put some stars on the brand, put some bigger names on that brand. Because for me, a big issue why AEW beats NXT every single week is because in reality, AEW has bigger stars and bigger draws. Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Cody, these are all guys that if they were in WWE, they'd be at least in the upper mid-card, at the very least, but or they'd be main event stars. So, of course they're going to draw more fans than NXT, because NXT, even with some people like Finn Balor and Adam Cole, or Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, they're not enough to draw more eyeballs than the likes of Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley. They're just not, because they're not as established stars as them, as the likes of Jericho and Moxley. They're not. So if you put on an AJ Styles or a Kevin Owens, maybe add a Cesaro too, suddenly things look a bit more different in terms of the star power on that show. You've got to treat NXT like it's not a developmental brand anymore. You've called it the main roster, so don't just have new talent on there or talent from the PC. Get guys from Raw, get guys from SmackDown, put actual draws on there. That to me is evidence of how much WWE wants to win this war of AEW. If they really wanted to do it, they'd put an AJ Styles on there. They'd put a Jeff Hardy or a Kevin Owens. That's just my opinion. And to be honest, I mentioned guys like Styles, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Ricochet, Aleister Black. If you've got guys the caliber of Adam Cole, who has been the guy, the centerpiece of NXT since they moved to the USA Network last year, you've got to replace him, because Adam Cole, for me, is going to Raw and SmackDown very, very soon. But of course, as always, this is just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts? Do you think Adam Cole will be moving to Raw or SmackDown very soon, or would you have him stay in NXT? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button as well. It really does help us out here on YouTube. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right-hand corner of the screen right now. Or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video, along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, and I'll speak with you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.